So how's it going?
It's good. We're back. We're back in it. Same spot. 20 years later.
I think one of the most meaningful things that have come out of 80s Night for me is the friendships, the lasting friendships that I still have to this day.
So Star 80, or 80s Night as we always called it, was one of like the most founding blocks of who I am today.
How about I tell you about my first night? My very first 80s Night was very memorable, and for lack of a better word, it was magical.
I don't know. I was just joking with Greg earlier via text that my memory is crap. You know, being in your 40s, you gotta forget some of the details.
Because me and my buddy Benny, one of my best friends in the world still to this day, we would go to the moon like 3 nights a week, you know, because it was like kind of grungy, kind of mysterious.
See if it's open or if I need to ring. I need to. So as you can see, it's an office now. When the liquor license lapsed, the Republic, the bar in New Orleans had bought the place, and they were going to turn it into a Republic BR.
And we would only go to the Spanish Moon for 80s Night, for Thursday, because like a lot of people that time, everybody's like, oh, Spanish Moon, is that a gay bar? Is that a goth bar? You know, just anything that at the time people considered a negative connotation, you know, oh, I don't want to go there. But then you get there and you're like, no, it's just an everybody bar. It's like an all creatures tavern.
I mean, there's a sense of family, and we're all from these disparaging folks, and we are stuck together in what amounts to, you know, a trench battle for like 4 hours.
So a lot has happened in 20 years, first of all. Tons. So after the 80s Night thing, I bought a bar in Lake Charles, owned that for about 5 years. And then I met my now wife, who is originally from Wisconsin, and she was living in Houston at the time. And she moved to Lake Charles for a job opportunity. And then I sold my interest in the bar. We moved to Milwaukee for about 2.5 years. And during COVID, we moved back in 2020. So yeah, just tons of stuff has happened in 20 years. Like the Spanish Moon 80s Night, that was our Studio 54.
Because Chacarella, I think in a way is kind of a drag persona. Like when I think about it today, like what that is, it was like this person I could put on to go on stage and be myself and express myself and dance. And I was not necessarily the most outgoing person in the room outside of that, but in that environment, I was so comfortable.
No, here's what I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. This is when I knew I hit it big, when I was recognized at the Piccadilly in Denham Springs. I knew I was the shit. So this was years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years into 80s Night, and I went to go have dinner with my mom, and my mom's like, Eric, there's some girls over there staring at you, and I'm like, okay. And she's like, and they're coming over. And a couple of these 2 girls come over and they're like, you're that guy. You're that guy. You know, that guy with all the whatever. And I'm like, yes, I'm that guy. And they said hello and then they went on and my mom was like, who is that guy? And I'm like, and so I had to explain who that guy was. So I'm like, I knew I was the shit when I got recognized at the Piccadilly in Denham Springs.
So my cousin, Brad, he was my only relative living in Baton Rouge. It was my freshman year in college. And he told me about 80s Night. His friend that he worked with, DJ Bird, was a DJ there. He worked with Bird at Barnes & Noble. He knew all the regulars. It was just, at that time, it was just the Barnes & Noble crew and like a lot of hairstylists and stuff that were going there. Brad kind of took me under his wing. He introduced me to everybody there. He introduced me to DJ Bird. But I remember just the music and the vibe. I felt really safe there. I will say I paid Brad back for that. Brad took me to my first 80s Night and introduced me to my first love in Baton Rouge. And I repaid him years later by giving him a kidney to save his life.
I think it just kind of like most things, they just, you know, they just kind of slowly die off. And I think we just, I don't know if it was the culture of 80s night or just, as we aged and matured and had different priorities and we just weren't as able to go every Thursday night because, it is a work and school night for a lot of people. And it's sad, but, all good things, it's very rare that something lasts forever.
So do you miss Thursday nights at the Spanish Moon? Do you miss 80s night?
God, yes. There's a hole in this town without 80s night. I mean, like there's like clubs and venues and things like that here and there that you can go to, but I mean, I don't think there'll ever be another 80s night because like there was such a community that we all shared, and we developed a little family just from it. And where else can you go being covered in glitter and sequins and craziness and go have a blast with all your buddies? I mean, where else can you go and do that? Especially in the South? I mean, where? No, the Moon. That's it, period.
I used to hate Baton Rouge. I used to hate everything about Baton Rouge. I was introverted. I was just not me. So I needed a way out. I hadn't experienced the world. I hadn't experienced anything but Baton Rouge. And when the opportunity to go to California arose, I took those reins and I just ran with it. When I came back, I fell in love with this city. I fell in love with the people again. I will say this, Baton Rouge is what you make of it. If you just come here to go to college, you're not going to get much out of this city. You're not going to get to experience the culture, the people, what this city has, what this city offers. Make something of it. Don't just sit around and want something to happen. You have to make it yourself. Oh, time out. Do you want me to look this way or this way? Okay.
Baton Rouge, at first glance, would appear to be a medium-sized, sleepy little town without much going on. For the regular traveler of the United States highways, a typical pass through Baton Rouge goes something like this. I'm driving over a bridge, there's a college, why is this highway over some lakes? Hey, Chili's! And 60 more miles to New Orleans. There's a little secret, though. Baton Rouge is a cultural landmark not only for Louisiana, but for the whole of the United States. The city is so rich in history, but the majority of the people walking around don't know the half of what's going on here. Our story begins with that rich history. Not in the present day, not in the 1980s, but in the year 1927, when Baton Rouge was a political hotspot in the United States. It was during this year that the levees on the Mississippi broke and gave way to the mighty river flooding many parts of Louisiana, including Baton Rouge. While the death toll was not catastrophic, there was a need to store the bodies of many drowned citizens. That place, for a short time, was a shop located on Highland Road. After being a few other establishments, it eventually became a bar they call the Spanish Moon.
It's been in different bars for probably the last 20 years. We think originally it was built as a feed and seed store with a storefront over there, like a big storage area back here, and upstairs was used as like a repair shop. We've heard all kind of rumors, everything from it being a temporary morgue following a flood back in the, I think it was the 20s or the 30s. There was a use as an adjunct jail at one point. There's still holes in the wall where the cells were bolted in into the brick walls up there.
Came here to go to school at LSU, and a mechanical engineering major. I had a part-time job working the door at a bar around campus, and my business partner David Pittman was my boss there, and after about a year working together, we decided to open our own place and make ourselves some money. So that's how I got in the business.
Oh no, I was managing a bar called the Bayou over on Chime Street, and we would go through doormen like changing laundry over there. And so he came in to meet me, but I had an appointment set up with somebody else that I thought turned out that I thought was him. And he showed up and sat at the bar for a little while, waiting to meet with me because I had gone and came back. And did I even ask you? No.
You didn't even ask me my name. He asked me if I could work that night.
Yeah, I needed a door guy for that night.
And he was like, "Can you work tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, I can work tonight." He's like, "Okay, you're working tonight." So I worked the whole night and did a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the night, he comes up to me and says, "So, what's your name?" Welcome to the Bayou.
The place originally was converted into the renovations were done by a guy who had owned the Bayou previously. And the Bayou was kind of like the icon of alternative, rock and indie rock and that sort of, that punk scene and that a little bit of that goth scene in Baton Rouge.
So whenever we bought the place, Bayou burnt down, a month before we bought it?
Right.
A month before we bought this place, the Bayou burnt down. All these people had nowhere to go. We knew a lot of them already from working there for years, so it seemed like a nice fit. Already pretty much the same kind of music. We just heard, we were friends with the guy who owned this building, and we just heard that he wasn't doing very well here. He needed to get rid of it, and his health wasn't very good, so we agreed upon it. We had a good deal, so we moved on it.
Up beyond that, I mean, we've spent money on some lighting. We got one of the better sound systems around town. We got the upstairs and downstairs, so people have the dancing area. They can go upstairs and kind of chill out and relax a little bit. We make good drinks. We charge fair prices.
And friendly staff.
We have a great crew. People who work in, they all love the 80s night themselves. If they're not working, generally everybody that works for us is generally here on Thursday night, whether they're behind the bar or on this side. So we don't hire door people or any kind of staff that would lead into that. We don't want anybody's attitude to be, look how big I am, I can beat you to a pulp. That's never going to be the attitude.
My real name is Brenton Francois, but everyone calls me Tiny Archibald. And I basically dubbed myself that. And I know it's not cool to give yourself a nickname, but just deal with it.
You're a little black dude.
It's true, I am a little black dude. Quarter pointed.
And my actual real name, which no one ever seems to know, is Justin Blaine Bourgeois.
Woo!
Everybody just knows me as Bourgeois. After hanging out here for about a year, and I'm shooting pool with one of the managers, and I'm just sitting there and I offhandedly say, all I need to do is find a job where I'm making $400 a month. That's it. That's all I needed at the time. And he's like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Work here." And that was it. Just hanging out, I got a job. I've actually heard one of the reasons that I got hired was because the owner Shane, was talking to owner David about he wears a suit. We'd have a doorman that wears a suit. How cool is that? That's half the reason I got hired, honestly, is because I always wore a suit.
Basically, I drink a lot, and my circle of friends, they started drinking over here, and I just started coming hanging around, and I found that the Moon was a place that was open and accepting to all types of people. Why are they gonna look at a black guy? There's a dude over there in a dress. Nobody's judging him. Nobody's judging me. Everybody's happy. We just want to get a couple of drinks in us and chill.
Consecutively, this is the longest I've ever held a job. I've had jobs that I've worked for 2 years, but quit 6 times in those 2 years. I've never quit here. I've never been fired here, like other jobs.
I mean, for me, you're pretty much treating people like adults. It's just less threatening, You're here to drink and have a good time. There's no need to have some guy pushing and shoving you around or whatever, because that's just going to cause some more trouble. If you're there and you're calm and you're nice, you'll be fine. Just remember Roadhouse. Just be nice.
Any night as colorful as Star 80 needs a figurehead who is just as out there. Meet Chris Culotta, a.k.a. DJ Bird.
Oh, well, he was hard not to meet. He pretty much came with this bar when we bought it.
We inherited him. He was already here doing it when we bought the place.
I had moved to California around 97 to go work for a skateboard company out there. And over the next 3 years, I ended up so broke, I don't even know what happened. Like, it just hit me like that. The company I was working for went down, so I was kind of scrounging around on my credit card for a long, long time. And One day I went to the ATM machine, it was like overdrawn, and I was like, oh crap, you know? So I was basically living on a futon mattress at this guy's house, and I'm surprised he kept me as long as he did, because I was a hellion. I did all kinds of crap to that guy, as far as like throwing parties in his house, things getting broken. I was young, so what could I do, you know? I'm in California, nothing can stop me. But 2.5, 3 years living on that futon mattress, just after a while, like just really started getting to me. Just one day I snapped, and like, I was like, I'm leaving, you know? I called my mom and dad, and they were like, you need to come home. And I was like, I'm on my way, like, send me a ticket, you know? I'm really thankful for my parents for being there for me like that. My family is really strong, and they were there for me, and they packed me up and sent me home, and I'm really, really grateful for that.
Bird isn't the only Culotta entertaining the nightlife in Baton Rouge. Chris's brother Jeff, a.k.a. Folky J, has Tuesday night on lockdown at another bar in this town. Jeff runs a bingo night that can get, on occasion, just as wild as Star 80. Together, the Culotta boys have 3 nights out of the week to give the citizens of Baton Rouge a reason to get out of the house.
Chris and I were cool together. Like, Chris and I were friends, you know, when we were little. We used to play together and stuff, and it was
We shared a room.
Yeah, we shared a room.
It was kind of kind of had a whole wrestling theme, because Rusty, our older brother, would always like make friends with Jeff. So then they would both gang up on me, so that would leave me kind of hanging dry. So I'd have to try and win Jeff's friendship back somehow, and it was terrible, but funny.
I used to run the open mic here. After they got tired of hearing my songs enough, they asked me to start doing the bingo thing. So,
what's the difference between the open mic night and the bingo crowd?
There's actually people here. What we try as often as possible, get together once a week and
just to see what's going on, catch up.
It's kind of hard, like, whenever I do go out, you know, Chris is pretty much working, you know.
Doing my thing.
Doing his thing. So we really don't get to hang out that much, you know, so we try to, like, set aside a day out of the week and just hang out, catch up.
Catch up on who's been making out with who and stuff. You did what? You did what? With who? I wouldn't say the 80s was the best period of my life. You know, I was kind of young. But you know, a lot of the I was listening to a lot of stuff that I play. Personally, it wasn't a good time for me. Just as much as the school thing, you know, everybody picks on the one kid in school, and that was me, you know. And so I wouldn't say it was the best time of my life, but those people are what created me. All the picking, all the abuse that I received in school molded me into the man I am today. So as much as I hate you, I thank you.
Well, 1980s is my generation. I mean, that's when I grew up listening to music, graduated from high school in 1983. I think for a lot of people in this, you know, that are, you know, 20 through, you know, 25, 26 now, that's the first music that they can kind of remember their older brothers and sisters listening to, that, you know, they can remember having maybe their first, you know, radio or CD player or something, or I guess tape players back then. And it just takes them back to a more, you know, maybe more comfortable, safer time. So music of my generation.
I think it's definitely the weirdest music to ever come out of the United States. It's just and out of Europe too. I think just the overall vibe of it. It's really, I don't know. It's kind of hard to put into words to why everybody likes it. But I know whenever I hear an '80s song in my car, I always turn it up. It's just, you know, I just like the '80s.
The music, first of all, I mean, Bird has a great mix. I mean, he stays true to his, you know, to the 80s music. It's not always that bubblegum pop 80s either. You have to have Madonna.
You know, but then he throws in his Flock of Seagulls, you know, his new wave
throw in,
stuff.
you know, the alternative and the, you know, the new wave, you know, punk of the, you know, from the 80s.
You know, music does bring people together. The love of the resurgence of the 80s, thank God, because it was the best time, I think. 90s was the deadest period ever. 80s was just all about fun.
I think the reason why I got so big was, honestly, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Yes, I really do. I really think that...
Well, it wasn't just that. There was an insurgence of the 80s there all around that time.
Well, yeah, but you gotta understand, I mean, Grand Theft Auto sold Vice City sold 1.5 trillion copies, and I guarantee you, at least 3/4 of the kids there have played it on some level and trip out to the 80s jam. And so, you know, there's a chance to kind of relive their pseudo-Tommy Vercetti lives. You know?
I'm not going to go so far as to say it was Vice City that did it. And I'm a gamer. I'm a nerd.
Hey,
I'll tell you
man.
straight up. Anything that I can give a video game the excuse for being the reason of something, I'll give it to it. But right around that time that like Grand Theft Auto Vice City started coming out on game systems, there was all sorts of like 80s things happening.
Also true. Yeah, I mean, VH1 was...
VH1 was
they were
doing that whole I love the 80s
thing or whatever, so
it's just time frames.
Yeah.
Like if you notice not just in particular in any subject where if a certain type of music is getting popular right around that same time, if anything's on that shtick, people flock to it.
Yep.
Retro 80s culture was nowhere near at its height when Star 80 actually begun. In fact, the night was not as successful for its first few years in existence.
The birth of Star 80 pretty much started around, I would say, August to September of 2000 when a friend of mine, Jeremy Woolsey, approached me. And he used to do, like, club events around town. And he asked me if I wanted to DJ. And I was like, I guess. He's like, it'd be really hot, it'd be really cool. A lot of the other stuff he had done was really cool. So I figured, if he's behind it, what could go wrong? I'd never had any DJ experience before except for playing, a Fisher-Price record player in my room. So I was kind of skeptical. Not really skeptical, more like nervous, I guess you could say, because, I've never done this, and this is new to me. So I welcomed it with open arms after a while, and I was like, all right, well, let's try this out. And that's what happened. That November, Thanksgiving of 2000 was our very first Star 80. And it was disastrous. Well, it wasn't disastrous. I would call it actually sort of semi-successful in the sense that nobody was there. Maybe like 2 bartenders, the doorman, and maybe 4 patrons, most of those being my friends.
When we first decided it was going to be every week, where it was really just the same people, a solid 30, 40, 50 people, and which was still fun, but all of a sudden everybody decided they were going to come on a Thursday, and it was just crazy busy. Bartenders running around nuts, and it was just the first time I think the bar was ever really busy since we had it.
To tell you the truth, that whole thing kind of snuck up and just whooped my ass. I remember looking up one night, I don't really remember the night, but I just remember looking up, and there was a lot of people who I'd never seen before. I'd never really expected any of those people to ever come out, and they were all just having the best time. And I was like, wow, what's going on? The next week, I saw, some of the same people from the week before. I brought my friends, and then the next week, those friends would bring friends. And so pretty soon it just grew into a mass hysteria. And I would say the peak was last summer when I thought that my life was in danger. As far as just so many people being in the club, it was shoulder to shoulder. I couldn't even make it to the bathroom. I was just sitting in the DJ booth just hating life almost. Loving life, but hating life to the fact that if I have to pee-pee, there's no way I can do that and get back in time to switch the song. So I just had to struggle. And luckily I didn't have to go pee-pee too bad.
I'll be honest with you, it becomes a totally different bar on Thursday.
When I first started coming here about 2 years ago, hey, there was a good number of people. People could dance. It was kind of, chill. It's about 400% more than what it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, I've been coming to 80s night pretty much since its start. And, when I first got here, there'd be nights where it's just me and like 6 of my friends and like another scattered 20 or 30 odd kids, just all have themselves a good time. And look at it now. It's just a giant wave of humanity. It just became a cult phenomenon, like Evil Dead.
One thing I've always focused on, and one thing I kind of like to do is never flyer. I don't like to advertise because, like, that whole 15 minutes of fame thing, the whole velvet rope thing. Seriously, because, you know, how else are you going to hear about it but word of mouth? And I always think word of mouth is the best way to get anything out.
Thursday, maybe not necessarily our biggest night, but definitely our most consistent. It's always going to be a solid Thursday every week. You know, no Star 80 is going to do well. There might be a big band coming in town that week that'll make a lot more money, but Thursday, just you can set your watch by it. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be a lot of people.
Even the busier it's gotten, I've heard a lot of people like, you know, oh, it's too busy. It's not like it used to be. I can't dance. They still come every week. They don't stop coming. They still enjoy it. Something works about it.
It was last summer when like the first really huge Star 80 night, and so many people had come in, and you know, and they'd obviously hit the thrift shops and whatnot, and you know, there's so many people dressed in 80s clothing and had their hair all, you know, teased up, and
yeah, it's one of those nights where you just kind of stand back and be like, wow.
And bars have those nights where it's just you can't really plan it, you can't make it happen. It just there's a certain synergy between the people, and they come together, and they just, you know, all these different groups, and everybody's getting along, and you know, the bar's running smooth, and everybody's, you know, having a great time. And that's why we're in this business for nights like that, where it's just all of a sudden it's just there, and it's just this feeling goes through, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
The 80s night brings out the ladies that night.
Do y'all come out every week?
Hell yay! Every other week.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you? Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah!
Every other. I love 80s. Yeah. I just like it's so much fun.
It's
fun.
I've not been here before.
I'm not from
So
here.
you had never been to 80s night?
I've not been to 80s night before. I'm expecting it to be like really cool, and you can dance however you want, dress however you want. Every other week.
Every other week.
Every week.
Actually, not even every other week.
Just
Just
for work
every now
schedule, or
and then.
because of
Work.
Fuck
Actually.
work, dude.
Pretty often. I actually come to this place itself pretty often.
I feel this is a bar where you can be yourself at.
Yeah, how old are you?
19.
So you're not old enough to drink.
No.
So why do you come out to a bar every week?
So I can dance.
So you can dance.
Mm-hmm.
Come here
2
for the
hours.
jams, man.
Crowd's incredible, man. I'm surprised they pack this many people in this bar.
Dance some 80s music.
Because I like to dance.
To 80s music.
To 80s music. I live in the 80s.
And I don't know, I like coming here because you can do whatever you want and nobody really cares.
All my friends come to 80s night, so it's like the one night a week where I actually get to see everyone, which is a real rarity.
And I've been to other places who tried to copy the 80s night here at Spanish Moon, and they did a very poor job. And actually, I overheard them saying we don't even try to compete on Thursday night against the Spanish Moon because they have got cap on that.
Do you guys remember anything of the 80s?
I remember glowworms because I owned one. Glowworms.
Oh shit.
Okay, so
Cut.
About 2 years ago, I guess, I was driving a Star 80 and there was just like severe flooding. My car was making those little noises it makes when it gets in too deep of water, like, yeah! Sure enough, I got there. And not only was I there, but about 1 million people as well. So that just goes to show you that, you know, weather will not keep people from coming. If you know about Star 80, if you know about the Spanish Moon, you're part of an exclusive club. You're part of something cool that's going on in Baton Rouge.
I've been coming here for probably about 6 years.
For about 6 months.
For about 3 years.
Because the music is awesome. There's no other place in Baton Rouge like it.
I mean, whenever you think of Thursday nights, I mean, you think of 80s nights at the Spanish Moon.
I just have a passion for 80s night. Let me put it like this. I live in Los Angeles, and I come home to party. I don't party out LA style. This is so much better.
And I'm from England, and I love the music here. I mean, it's so different to England, and I just like the experience. It's really good.
Well, I was made in the 80s, so I feel like I should have fun with the 80s. I've come here before and been the only person dressed up in the club, and I had the time of my life. I love it.
I think probably my favorite part about 80s night is not actually the music, it's just the interaction between all the people. I mean, there's alliances formed, hearts have been broken, you know, girlfriends found, boyfriends divorced. Another thing that you start to notice when you work the door is you start to pick up the fact that girls, when even slightly intoxicated, for lack of a better term, lose their shit, right? And a lot of what happens is that, you know, somebody will get there maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before the other party gets there, and, you know, they'll go inside, you know, maybe dance to like half a song, then come out and then see the other person in line. And then once they do that, it's much like reuniting, you know, a long-lost relative or freeing Nelson Mandela. That's how much joy they have in their hearts. Just, oh my God, I haven't seen you in like 10 minutes. I can't believe it. Ah! And weird, almost dolphin sounds.
Because you know they got dressed in the same room.
Exactly.
They got dressed in the same damn room.
You know?
One of them still had to put makeup on. The other one put her makeup on before they got dressed.
Mm-hmm.
She left, came up here. Other one gets here. Oh my God, there you are.
Yep, exactly. Blows my mind every time. Every time. You're guaranteed at least two an 80s night. Guaranteed.
That you hear near the door.
Yeah.
You let everything go when you come here. You don't have to worry about people you meet. You can come here by yourself like I do, like on weeknights, and just talk to people because they're very, very friendly. I work as a graphic designer, and also I'm taking care of a child. Not stay-at-home mom, but I stay at home mostly during the week.
Is that stressful for you?
Yes, very, very stressful. And for some reason, this place makes it feel like I'm free. I have no cares, no worries. Tomorrow is a different day, and I take advantage of it. I think that's why I'm so addictive. It just makes me feel so different. You know, I don't have to feel like a mom, and I don't have to feel like I have to be here. You know, I just have that freedom. It makes me feel good.
Though they are all loyal, few show as much intensity, passion, and love for Thursday night as the one they call Mr. Fabulous.
One of my favorite memories was my introduction to Mr. Fabulous.
Mr. Fabulous is the man. That kid knows how to dance. He knows how to dance really well.
I remember looking out across the crowd one night, and there was just this guy, and you know that it's Mr. Fabulous. He just had all this glitter on, all this stuff. Everybody was just like, they didn't know. Their jaws were dropping. It was like, who is this guy and what is he doing here? But he danced to every song. He knew the words to every song. And he just danced with so much energy. I've never seen somebody like dance that hard. Plus he has asthma, so it's like, where's he getting this from? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I've never actually spoken to him.
I've met him a couple times.
I think highly of him. He's a great guy. I don't know him very well personally, but I think it's awesome. He makes all of his own clothes are all great. He does amazing stuff.
I'd say he's definitely the most interesting person in here on an 80s night.
He's become a feature and an attraction.
He's like a celebrity.
Ladies and gentlemen, by popular demand, the one, the only, Mr.
I was raised, actually, I guess what they call them is, I guess that's North Baton Rouge or whatever, by the airport. And I was raised there for, 20 years, lived in the same house for 20 years. Then my parents thought they'd be cute and decided to move out to Walker, God help us all, and got some land, and that's what they did. And then when I stayed out there with them for approximately 3 months, got sick of it. And the reason I moved is because I drove from their new house. I drove all the way to McDonald's and back, and it took me 15 minutes, and I crawled all the way back home. And I realized then that I'm a city person, not a country person, so I moved to Atlanta. My nickname, when I lived back in Atlanta, I used to go to a club there all the time called Backstreet, and I used to go there all the time, and a bouncer there used to give me the nickname Glitter Boy, because of course I always wore glitter and stuff. And then I came here and I started dancing, and it was not that crowded like it is today. And I used to go and just kind of hang out and chill out and dance here because I love the music. And then one night I was on the stage dance with somebody, and Chris just said, "Let's give a hand for Mr. Fabulous." And I was like, and I looked around like, who is that? And then later on I found out that that's who I was. And then it just kind of stuck, and that's how it was created.
Mr. Fat, I almost
say a sentence.
I mean, it's just.
Collect your thoughts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Miss Fabulous, you know, okay. When I first started coming here, I think I was like everybody else. I was just like, I don't know if this is cool or not. I like it, I think. It's awesome. I'm pretty sure. I would never do it. It interests me. And then after about a month of it, and he doesn't show up one week, you're like, where is he?
Exactly.
What happened? Where'd he go? Oh, he's back next week. Okay, all right. My life is complete now. People come up to the door. Miss Fabulous here yet?
Mm-hmm.
They ask.
I mean, for me, he's almost as much an institution to 80s Night as Bird or the Violent Femmes for that matter. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough, yeah.
Like when you think of 80s Night, you're gonna probably at some point in time, within 15 nanoseconds of thinking about it, will immediately think about Mr. Fabulous and some sort of crazy outfit that he wore and some sort of choreographed dance that he does to some sort of song.
And I'm pretty sure he's never worn the same outfit. Never.
That's dedication.
One day I was walking out of a club and this person commented on my jeans, and I'm like, well, these jeans used to be my mom's curtains. Just depends on what I see. Well, yeah, I told this lady one time I was in the thrift store. In the thrift store too, I buy a lot of my stuff in the thrift store. And this lady, she's like, what are you buying this dress for? You can't wear a dress. I'm like, well, first of all, yes, I can. And two, it may have started out as a dress, but it's going to become something else in about 2 days. It's going to become another life. So I don't really consider myself a designer. I'm a reanimator. I reintroduce it as something else. And then on the weekends, my best friend and I go shopping, and he's kind of my accomplice in that kind of stuff. And we've actually been given nicknames. Someone calls me Glitter, they call him Glam, because he glams it up, and I just do the glitter thing. And we go to thrift stores and raid them. One time we went to this thrift store, and we were walking out, and to me, it's like God sent one of those beams from heaven down. We were walking out, and there was this beaded shirt there. And I said, you got to buy this. This is you. I see it. He's like, no, I don't do beads and all that stuff. I'm like, I looked at the label, and it was Oscar de la Renta, and it was a classic. It was a handmade shirt. It was probably worth, I'm going to say, if you were to buy it originally, $400. We bought it for $3. And he brought it home, and we fixed it all up with some jeans and this. And when he wore it out the next day, or that night rather, and it was like the thing. He was amazing in it, and that's the kind of thing we do. We walk through thrift stores and wait to see the light from heaven, and right there that tells me we got to make it into something. When we tell people to meet us at a club, they're like, well, how can we find you? I'm like, you'll see us. You cannot miss us. A lot of people are like, oh, can you make me that? Can you make me this? And I'm like, oh, sure, bing, and it's done. And it ain't that easy, because I keep trying to tell them I have to have the measurements, and I have to have this and that and that. But I would love to. I think it'd be fun. And for Chris, like we were talking about something.
Like this T-shirt he made me, like I've worn it twice already, and I don't want to wear it anymore. Like I'm trying not to wear it too much. He told me a couple of times how to do it, so.
I will give you the care instructions. And so ever since then, yeah, it's kind of been that way. And I kind of feel like people are raising me up to something I don't deserve. I just come out in wacky outfits and be silly and dance. I try to have a good time, make everybody else try to have a good time as best they can. You know, I mean, usually I would like to see someone down in the crowd and get them up. But, no, I don't see that. I don't see someone saying, ooh, you're Mr. Fabulous. Oh, and what was it last week? Someone came up to me and said, oh, I'm so honored that you're talking to me. I'm like, I'm not Jesus Christ. Of course, if he had glitter, maybe he would be as grand. But so when a friend of mine had come home from work one day or whatever and said to me that there was an 80s night in town. I'm like, where? And he told me it was at the Spanish Moon. I'm like, well, let's go. And I went and instantly fell in love. I didn't even know it existed. I thought it was just a really cool old building when I grew up here. I used to go to a club down the street, and we always used to just pass this building. I never knew what it was. I had always heard it was a goth club, which also appealed to me because I love that. And I always wanted to go, but never just had the initiative to come here. And it just seems to me that when you come here and you look at the crowd, you look at the variety, and it's not, everybody doesn't look the same. Everybody's very different. And I think if you brought a stranger in here and they liked the 80s and they were into the 80s and they saw the different dress and they saw the different types of people, I think that's what draws people back. And it's cool here because people want to socialize, they want to be friends, they want to dance with you, they want this, they want that, and that's what I like about it. Because people aren't stuck up. They're not worried about you getting glitter all over them. No. I want a ghetto brother on this side, and I want a drag queen on this side. I want someone completely outrageous and different, and that's why I like this club, because it's the only place I have found here in town that accommodates that type of crowd. Oh, I love it.
I've seen nights where Mr. Fabulous is talking to a fraternity guy, and he might give him a weird look, but by the end of the night, that guy's hugging him, you know?
Eric Bullock is only one man doing what he can on Thursday nights. There are, in some instances, groups of friends whose entire reason for knowing each other goes back to Star 80. Take, for example, Emily Rowley, Greg Dawson, Jennifer Miller, and Ryan Bajeron. Or, as they're also known, Chacarella, G-Spot, The Jiggulator, and The Idolist. The T-Shirt Kids. If not for Star 80, they might not even know each other.
Well, so Jennifer was going with her friend, Christine, and then she moves to California. So I decided, Emily's cool and she likes to go to 80s night. So I was just like, hey, let's go together. And then we just became really close that way. And I had met Greg before that at the Catery, just randomly. But I really met them or whatnot, here. And I don't think it took long at all. Just because we would come up here and we'd always hang out and we'd always, be on stage dancing. And then,
we just all kind of found out that we all wanted to hang out more. So we were just, pretty much anytime we would all go and call each other and be like, are you going to be there? Yeah, you got to be there. And we just,
And make you go.
Yeah.
But now we were starting to figure each other out.
On other levels besides 80s music, in other contexts.
For me, what really got me is just the atmosphere. I really love the atmosphere and the music. It's a part of my life. It's been a part of my life since I've been coming. It's a place where I could escape from all the stresses of normal everyday life and just relax. And I'm almost a different person here.
Yeah. Both Jennifer and I had kind of made shirts prior to us getting together and making shirts. Then we just kind of started putting our heads together and we started, deciding to do shirts together. And then we were I wanted to get him in on a shirt with me. Then we got Greg. Greg made a shirt for Gray Line, and we just try to make shirts together, and sometimes we theme them together and try to have an idea, which I think that's what we're going to do this week, is we're going to have a themed group.
What? You want it even. You want it centered on your shirt. Okay, then you need the same amount of space on each side. This is aggravating me. I don't see how you don't.
No, because you could also do it from here too. You're saying,
but
if the tag is in the center,
okay,
you
but
put the center
no
letter
one's gonna see the tag, Ryan. Everyone's gonna see the spaces on the side of ours.
No, listen, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Ryan.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Look. Okay, forget about the tag, but the tag tells you where the center of the shirt is. And no one's going to see it, of course, but you know where the center is. They're going to see this, exactly. It's still the center point of the shirt. So, of course, you're going to put the center letter where the center point of the shirt is, right? If you drew a line down the center.
It's 7 letters. It's not even.
No, it is.
What? No, 7.
3, and 1. 1 is in the center.
Whatever. Okay, but Ryan, you've got your eye, and your eye is about
Was
this
I right
big.
or not?
Okay, your eye is this big. Your in is twice the size. Listen, but you do it by doing this, Ryan. Exactly.
You can do it that way too.
Ryan!
You can do it more than one way.
Ryan. Okay, come into my zone. Right here, okay?
Hey, it's my song.
Right, no, look
it's
at me.
my song.
Look at me! Ryan.
What?
We do this all the time.
I know, y'all never use a ruler.
Listen to us.
You need to make sure it's even on the sides.
Come back over here and look. Oh, so it's a little bit over 2.5 inches. Oh, let's see. It's a little bit more than that. Let's move it over a little bit. I mean, Ryan, and that's why I don't.
Yeah, but it's still the same.
If it's on the same line, it's gonna hit the same part of the curve, Ryan. Ryan, how do you not understand things so? Ryan, stand where your brain is. Here,
I know, but I'm saying my way works too.
No, it doesn't. Because you're not getting it right doing it your way.
You know what, Ryan? Do it your way, and let's see how your shirt comes out. Go.
Okay. All right. We're gonna do it my way. We're gonna see how the shirt comes out. All right. All right. I try and get him to do it all for me.
Yeah, Ryan's really lazy. So I mean, we love.
I don't have that much time,
We try to make it for him, but he usually has to come over and actually like do some painting or something like that. Like we can't do everything for him, but yeah, Jennifer and I will be at like work, and we'll just be like, oh my God, we'll be like so excited. We'll be like, okay, so we can do this. We can like, we'll start leaning.
Yeah, I was
like,
drawing
doing
little sketches,
diagrams,
like front and back,
and what can we put on there, and like what are sayings we can do, and like what songs, and like.
I think it's awesome, like the whole idea and all, but I think it's ridiculous. They'll have coffee. They have coffee, and they're talking about the next shirts they're gonna make. Whenever they're not making shirts, they're talking about making shirts. They become obsessed with it.
Let's talk about the guy who dressed up like Billy Idol, bleached his hair blonde, gets up on stage with glasses and leather gloves, and has his whole dance and whatever.
Always do Billy Idol every
Our shirts are a little much.
What I put down in words, all one perfect like you're in the world.
What's the idolist from?
I kind of came up with that idea for Ryan because he likes Billy Idol and he kind of idolizes him. But it's really funny because whenever I told him the idea, he was like, yeah, and I'm also kind of an idealist. And I was like, Ryan, not the same word at all. Like, yeah, I would have to say that, like, if you were to say one song would be my song, it would probably be Danger Zone. I mean, the Danger Zone, there's only one thing that could clearly be. Well, how much more dangerous can you get? And other times, like, everyone else will just kind of, like, think I'm doing this, and people will be like, yeah, and I'll be like, no, like this, like this.
And when he's finished, you'll know that you met the only one. Jerry Inspector. He's eating wreckage off the highway, he could go for miles. Jerry Inspectors. But don't believe him when he sticks you in the jerkweed file. There's no mistaking him, you know he has a pork chop style. Jerry
tell people like, hey, you might want to back up just a little bit because we're about to get crazy.
You know, I think it's up to each individual person. Some people feel comfortable just coming out in their little collared shirts and blue jeans, but other people want to dress up. Because I have seen, you know, people who hadn't dressed up before, they start slowly doing it, and then finally I'll see them just one night, some kind of crazy garb, and I'm like, whoa, okay, you finally got the balls to do it. Cheers, you know?
You don't find that many people, especially like all like, you know, group friends, just randomly become really good friends that just love to dance and will get up on stage and act a complete ass without having to be wasted, you know, and that's kind of cool too. It's just like, you know, it's like a mutual appreciation. Like I said, it's just really cool to have like a really close bunch of friends that I met so randomly that we can come here and like we can hang out and be all crazy, you know, that's really it.
Well, these are the best friends I've ever made here. Yeah, they're by far the best friends I made here, so, you know, seeing them.
There's no reason for us not to show up because we get to hang out more. We get to spend an evening together making shirts and doing stuff, which I really, really look forward to.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things about, like, now, like, part of the reason why I come, and I think it's kind of mutual, is, like, because of these people.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's such a dynamic with us. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's cool if there's other people. I mean, like, we don't all spend the entire night together. Yeah. But without, like, these three people, like, it wouldn't be the same for me. Like, it just wouldn't be as fun, and, like, it just wouldn't be the same, you know?
Gradually, Star 80 became a major hit. This opened up new career opportunities for DJ Bird.
Actually, Randall one of the bartenders over there, Red Star, downtown Baton Rouge, used to always say, you should come do something for us. And I was like, you're probably right. Randall kept saying it, and finally Frank approached me and was like, look, we're going to do karaoke night here, and we want you to host it. And I was like, well, whoop-de-doo, we'll do this, I love karaoke, I love singing, I love being an ass, I love, being loud and stuff like that, so what better opportunity? Me and Frank, we've had a history. I used to come in here, be a punk. After we patched things up, he saw the potential, and he saw, the energy that I bring, and we thought we could make magic happen, and so far it has. It's taken off almost as good as 80s Night.
Don't forget we have the 80s Night Prom coming July 28th.
The fan base of Star 80 had been loyal to DJ Bird and the Spanish Moon for some time now. Chris felt that it was time to give back to those who made him what he was by offering up a special night of Star 80. Bird decided to capitalize on the strong currents of teenage culture from the 1980s and give them the first ever Star 80 prom. Thursday night is a treat in and of itself, but every now and then even a treat needs some sweetening up.
Let me get candied ice cream every day, I guess. So, I didn't go to my prom because it sucked. I didn't want to go to, high school prom. I think those are kind of a joke. It's kind of a way for me to have my ultimate prom that I always wanted. So at the end of this month, we're going to have prom. And normal 80s night, I guess, but, I might do some things different, decorate the place, the club a little bit, or a lot of it. Put some streamers up and some balloons and kind of make it that prom feel. We have a deal worked out with like a local boutique, discounts on prom-related items, like tuxedos and whatnot. So try and get everybody to dress up. It should be a good turnout as far as people dressing up.
Every once in a while, we'll give away gift certificates, and we'll be giving away gift certificates on 80s prom night. We're especially going all out for this one. For this whole month, we'll be doing 15% off 80s prom wear, and we'll be decorating our outside window with all the 80s prom stuff.
For prom night, I am going to get us all enough.
All right.
It's done.
It's set.
It's set.
Done. All right.
Do I have to reserve it now?
Remember the time we died in the garden? We were alive and living unguarded. Our moon turned to blood, the whole
Nobody can get in right now. It is nuts. People are packed wall to wall. They came in from New Orleans. They came in from Lafayette. And I love it. This is what Star 80 should be. This is what Star 80 is about.
Prom was a massive success. The Spanish Moon actually sold out an unticketed weekly event. Unbeknownst to them at the time, this anomaly would not become the exception, but soon would become the rule.
Originally, Star 80 was just a filler on Thursdays. It was basically whenever there was no band booked on Thursday when we bought it, they would stick Chris and he would do his thing on Thursday, and a lot of his friends would come every week. And it was a small base, but it was always a lot of fun. So we thought that it could be so much more than that. We thought that if we could take that same vibe and just do it every week, we could really, if we get a few people to come and notice it, that it could just snowball and it'd be a great night, which it did.
But for like a really long time, nothing stopped me. It was close to like almost a year, probably like 9 months at least, where I went every Thursday. That included Thanksgiving, that included Christmas, that included, every Thursday I was here. Regardless of if anyone came with me, I was here.
And that's just the way it is. And I look forward to it every week, if I can make it. Usually sometimes I can't because I got to go out of town, but I look forward to it as best I can because it makes my week. And it's what it is for me. It is a release. It is. Because, you're stressed all week and you have to deal with all kind of BS. And as soon as you get here, it's just a release and people are happy to see you and you have a good time. And Chris plays what you want. It's awesome. It was wonderful. And that's why I went. I went for many of those reasons, but mostly because of the difference of the people and the music. And I love the 80s. It is exactly what I need. I wish I could have it every day. And I wish I could bottle it and sell it. I'd make a fortune. So
I do want to have something to do with some clubs in the area. I don't want something to do with every club in the area. There's a lot of places here that I will never step foot in their club and help promote something that's helping bring Baton Rouge down, in my sense.
The thing that kind of bugs me about Baton Rouge is the fact that there's a lot of good live music here.
Yep.
There's a lot of good original bands here.
Yep.
Of every different genre. You've got all sorts of different type of music that's really good. But in this town, it does not sell. At one point, I heard about legislation that was going to be passed to be giving tax cuts to like venues that played original music, and it specifically said original music, local bands, stuff like that. Kind of like giving that incentive to make it more of a Austin type atmosphere. I haven't seen crap. For all the different type of genres that there is of original music people in this town, none of that is quite what the people who are running this town want.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they say something about trying to make it more cultural or trying to make it more like another city somewhere in the States, the only way that's ever going to happen is time and the people doing it on their own.
Yep.
Spanish Moon, other venues in the city that do play live music are going to play a part in furthering that if it ever comes along, but that's going to be it. It's never going to be up to people who pass bills or want to give tax cuts or the people who say, oh, we need to make a change, sit on their hands.
You got to take control of it yourself. That's what you got. That's what I think the Spanish Moon and other venues are doing. It's backed by legislation and time, and then you got these group of people that really don't have the money to go against these big giants. So what they're doing is they're just whittling away. They're hacking at their shins, and eventually, big boy will come tumbling down. Exactly.
What's that? Sound of a dying giraffe.
For any bar to succeed, you have to have a scene, and that means more than one bar. A lot of times, a lot of the other bar owners and whatnot, everybody's trying to squabble and fight over the same, same pie. They just want to carve a bigger chunk out of the same pie. We try to talk to people, and there are a few other owners and whatnot that are on the same page. Understanding that, look, if we can just make a bigger pie, we can keep our same chunk, but we'll still make more money and have a better scene in Baton Rouge.
Exactly.
Particularly when it comes to live music, it's a whole changing. It goes along with the way people's taste in music run. These days, it's all DJs and hip hop and rap and whatnot. So we tend to, we're trying to work with other bars and clubs and restaurants and whatnot to create a bigger scene in general so that we can get good entertainment, have something for people in Baton Rouge to enjoy.
like you said,
the best way to do it is to get everybody together, to have an actual scene.
I see a lot of people, a lot of bands, a lot of good bands. They go straight to New Orleans. I want Baton Rouge to be that, but I want it to be somewhere that people will stop and say, hey, wow, Baton Rouge is on the map. And people will start noticing us and respecting us, and not just seeing us as the capital of Louisiana. A lot of people just, sit around saying how much they hate Baton Rouge and how much they want to get out. And I ask them, I'm like, well, why? What makes this place so bad? And in between bong rips, they say, it just sucks, And it's like, well, why? I don't know, it just does. Like, nothing's ever going on. So, to those people that say Baton Rouge sucks and they hate it, go, leave, we don't want you. Make something of it. Don't just sit around and want something to happen. You have to make it yourself. So, I don't care if I'm on my deathbed, you better wheel me in there, because I will be playing the music and rocking the crowd. Nothing's going to stop me from doing a Thursday, ever.
Star 80 is now in its 5th year of existence and has recently enjoyed sold-out nights on a weekly basis. For those living in Baton Rouge, the Spanish Moon has done its part to give an entertaining distraction from work, school, or any other mundane activity. It provides a release, and for some a sense of fun or even a hobby. And a town without much to do gives these loyal patrons just what they needed.
Never tried to get